Hello and welcome to Vikram Loves to Freelance. Now, in this particular video, I essentially want to raise a point which I've actually raised in the past as well. It is entirely to do with RBI's clampdown on Payoneer. What is Payoneer? Payoneer is essentially a payment processing gateway or company like PayPal. Payoneer essentially deals with online payments. The differentiating factor as far as Payoneer versus other payment processing gateways is concerned is the fact that Payoneer offers what are prepaid debit cards. Now, I would have loved to show you, the my Payoneer set of Payoneer debit cards which I have, but I don't quite want to do that. I don't want to show it to you and have those numbers etc. revealed. But let me assure you, they are exactly like your typical bank debit cards or credit cards which you get. The differentiating factor is that those cards are specifically issued for particular vendors, and the way it works is that, like, I primarily work on freelance websites like Elance or Odesk or freelancer.com. Each of these sites in turn issues acts as an intermediary for Payoneer to issue these debit cards. So you might have a particular debit card which is issued for your Elance account. You might have another Payoneer debit card which is issued for your Guru account or your Odesk account or your freelancer account. Plus, there are a lot of sites which pay your affiliate marketing commission. As internet marketers would be aware of, there's something called affiliate marketing, wherein you push sales of others products and you earn commission on that. So for that, those payments are in turn made through these Payoneer debit cards. The point that I'm making, and I've repeatedly stressed on this so many times in the past, is that why is the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, continuing with its clampdown on Payoneer and its debit cards? That's something which I've yet to figure out. As of now, as best as I know, Payoneer functions perfectly normally across all other countries in the world except India. What is the problem in India? I really would like to know. With PayPal, there was a problem back in 2010 February odd, when PayPal also had a similar situation. RBI was clamping down, and then there was this mandatory PAN card. The what PAN card is in India is essentially like an identity which associates an individual or a business with the tax records. So when you have a PAN card, you have your entire income tax filing associated with it. It's like, with that PAN number of that PAN card, you can have your complete income statement, your tax filing, etc., automatically kind of generated. So you just quote your PAN number, and at a glance all the records can come up. So now, why so as far as PayPal is concerned, since you had this situation where you linked PayPal to PAN card or the PAN number, why can't you do the same with Payoneer and let it function in India? I'm telling you, Payoneer is superior to all these other payment gateways like PayPal in so many different ways. The number one advantage in the case of Payoneer is the enormous liquidity which it offers, instant liquidity in the form of cash. The way Payoneer works is that, let me tell you, if suppose today I have received a payment from a client, say in New York, and they pay to my Elance account, I withdraw from my Elance account, and Elance processes, because every site has this situation where it actually manually processes that payment. So it's not like I click on withdraw and immediately I have the money credited to me. It doesn't work that way. There's a specific time period, and then it's typically the same business day. The way I've seen it is that, thanks to the time difference, say I've been working the whole day, and by the evening, say about 7 or so, I receive a payment from a client in the US. By evening, by night, Elance would have processed that payment, and the money would be there wherever I'm withdrawing it. Now what happens is, when it comes to payment gateways like PayPal, which RBI has mandated that now any and every penny which lands into your PayPal account has to go into your bank account, there's always that, lengthy time period. And in India, one of the worst things is the fact that because of the plurality of the country, because of the multiplicity of religions and people from so many different cultures, communities, there are innumerable bank holidays. This is one of the most frustrating experience. Whether it's a Hindu holiday, whether it's a Muslim holiday, whether it's a Christian holiday, whether it's a Sikh holiday, there are holidays galore. Even within the Hindu religion, there are so many different gods and goddesses. For each time, for each god or goddess, to appease them, you have these bank holidays, which often turn out to be bank holidays as well. So each time you suffer. Whereas when it comes to a payment instrument like Payoneer, it operates outside of this entire banking system, which is so wonderful, so really so wonderful. Imagine, suppose I have worked the entire week, Monday to Friday I've worked, and Friday is when I get the bulk of my payments. The advantage with Payoneer is that if I'm paid on a Friday, I can have that money in my hand as cash on that very Friday. And when it comes to any other payment gateways, be it PayPal, be it a direct credit to my bank account, none of that will take place till at least the next Wednesday, Thursday. So there's a significant time lag. Now you'll say that when it comes to, say, a job, you only get paid once a month. But then there's a difference. In a job, you are sure, say that 30th of that month or 31st of that month, maybe even the 1st or the 2nd of the next month, whichever date, but there's a fixed date when you know that your salary is and or will be credited. Whereas when you work online, it doesn't work that way. It's not like, you're very sure that so and so date I will get paid. You have to plan, you have to keep timing. Here you're working with myriad clients, and often there's this time lag in terms of, say, even if I've completed the work today, there's no guarantee that I'll be paid today. There's no guarantee that I'll even be paid tomorrow or day after. The client may take a long time. So invariably, keeping all of these things in mind, what you want is that the time lag between the time you're actually paid versus the time when you actually have access to the funds, that has to be as short as possible. That should not be a long lengthy time period, and that is shortest in the case of Payoneer and no other payment gateway. If you know about any other payment gateway which is as fast as Payoneer, please tell me. I'll be more than happy to advocate them. I'll be more than happy to take on them. Of course, I know that being in India, I'm confined to so many different restrictions all the time. Restrict this, restrict that. I don't know why. I don't understand the RBI's policies. I don't know why this, constant impediments which are forced on people. Why does the entire Indian administration, the bureaucracy, work like this? Where anywhere I go, when it comes to the banking system, when it comes to the financial systems, everything is so robust, everything is so quick. There aren't these obstacles. Whereas when it comes to the Indian authorities, there's always this clampdown, there's always restriction. Don't do this, don't do that, do like this, do like. Why like this? Why couldn't you? When there was Payoneer, when I had that card, I was using it and I was so happy to use it. I could travel freely. My life was completely different with Payoneer, and trust me, without Payoneer, my life is extremely different and much, much worse. So it makes a lot of difference. I can plan my work. I could plan my work. I could time my work. I knew that, okay, I could work the whole week, and then if I wanted, I could just, the payments received on, say, a Friday, I have my money in, and weekend I can party like anything. But now I can't really do that, And anytime, I'll tell you, typically, if I get paid on, say, a Monday, I don't receive funds till Thursday or Friday. And then it has even taken an entire week, because if there is even one bank holiday in between, it disrupts the entire schedule, because there's a certain procedure through which the money goes. There's first the RBI, which the foreign exchange is kind of coming in, then it is processing it to the concerned bank, then the bank is processing it. So there are there are these unnecessarily layers. Whereas when you had that Payoneer debit card, you're working directly with that concerned bank, and that particular bank which Payoneer bank with, and they were super fast, as little as 2 hours. As little as 2 hours, for a certain fee, you could have that money credited to your that what is called a checking account, and then you can actually go to any ATM. And the way it worked is, I'll tell you, by say 8:30 or 9:30 p.m. India, I could place my withdrawal request. Elance, the site on which I primarily work, that would process my request by say about latest by 11:30 midnight India time. And then as soon as I process, the funds were processed and they were there in my Payoneer account, I would just log on to Payoneer. I would say that okay, yes, load my card for whatever fee, instantly within 2 hours. And that 2 hours was actually only on paper. I would see that funds would be there in as little as 5 to 10 minutes. Amazing. Imagine a client has paid me in New York or LA or London or Berlin or anywhere in the world. I withdraw the money, and then I have it there for me to withdraw from any ATM. It's such a wonderful card. You can use it at any ATM. It's a normal, like a Mastercard Maestro debit card. So as soon as the funds are there, you can go to any ATM. You suppose the card has been loaded right now. I can just walk to my nearest ATM, say 5 minutes away. I can withdraw cash there, and I can even let those funds remain on my card. I can go to any merchant and I can swipe it for anything. I want to buy goods for my family. I want to go to a shop, or I want to do some I don't know, any shopping, or fill fuel in my car, anything. I can do all of those things. So RBI's clampdown has actually affected life in so many negative ways. Through these videos, I've been trying to raise awareness. I'm not sure if anything is going to come out of it, you know but at least I'm still trying. Maybe this is not going to be sufficient. I'll probably have to take it up the legal way, or the formal way, wherein I raise a query through the legal channel to RBI directly. I ask them that what is the reason, what is the logic, if there was so much of a problem. And I don't understand if it's for security reasons, if it's for tax records. People still violate these things. There are still so many security loopholes. There are scams galore in this country. So I mean, what are you trying to achieve with this? Honest, hardworking people are invariably the most affected in this country, and this is something which is so frustrating. I find lawless politicians, absolutely unscrupulous individuals getting away with crores of money. Money is being siphoned left, right, and center. People are committing the worst of scam related crimes, I would say, because money meant for societal purposes, development purposes, for children, for poor children. Recently there was a scam in Maharashtra. Money which is meant for feeding children has been siphoned off, or it never reached them in the first place. So what are we trying to achieve? Yeah, here I am, an honest and hardworking person, trying to make the most of my life, working online. I'm getting precious foreign exchange into the country. I'm using the meagerest of resources, if I can use that word, and yet all I get is constant penalization from the RBI. Why? What are you achieving out of this? These are my fundamental questions, and I will not stop asking them. I'm trying to raise awareness through these videos. If nothing comes out of it, I will go the legal way. I would like to file like an RTI, right to information. I don't know if I can file an what's that called, there's a term where you can file like a FIR. No, I don't. I'm not sure what is that term where you can go to a court, and you can actually file a case against, and then you seek specific answers. It's not just RTI. I'm talking about something beyond that. You can actually file a case, and then it'll be mandatory for them to at least give some sort of a response. So I'm hoping for that. At the same time, I never wanted that. This should never have happened. RBI should never have clamped down on Payoneer. Payoneer offers excellent services. Payoneer offers a certain convenience which no other payment gateway is able to offer. In spite of that, if you get some sadistic pleasure out of troubling honest and hardworking citizens like me, then I fail to understand what what benefit lies in being an Indian. Because at one hand, one keeps reminding oneself that yes, you need to remain proud to be an Indian, but if the Indian administration is always throttling your desires, ambitions, your very existence is being all the time you're being pushed to a corner, then one starts to feel and wonder that what's the point of my being here. As it is, when it comes to value for money, India is probably the worst countries in the world. We proudly every smallest of thing today, the prices have skyrocketed to an extent where I'm telling you, when it comes to value for money, even the US, which is supposedly a very expensive country, offers much better value. Look at real estate in the US. You get 100 times better quality housing and houses and or properties. Yes, the property market there has crashed, but irrespective of that, you get such good value for money. Here you have properties which are worth crores. A crore is quoted as though it's some candy. A crore is 200,000 US dollars at current exchange rate. $200,000 is a lot of money even in the US. So I don't know. I mean, where this country is headed, the kind of inflation which I see for vegetables, the kind of inflation I see for practically every damn thing. It's unbelievable that people can't even afford the most basic of things, and yet you keep I don't know, pushing them to the corner. There'll be a day. I'm very sure that that day is not far away when there'll be a big revolt in this country, which will be much bigger than what we've seen in these Middle Eastern or Gulf countries or the Arab world, Arab Spring they called it. I don't know. I mean, wait for the Indian Spring. I think it'll be bigger than all of them. So that's it. I've ranted about my my disappointment with Payoneer still not functioning in India. I remain optimistic that there will be a day when Payoneer will begin to function. Till then, I just hope for the best, and I don't have to go the legal way. But I don't think there's any other alternative besides that. Cheers, and I'll keep you posted on how things go. Cheers.